The Madawaska River is without a doubt one of the best rivers in the world to learn whitewater paddling, which is why the Madawaska Kanu Center made it its home there many decades ago. And so for this paddling guide, we've hooked up with Claudia van Wijk, the longtime owner of MKC, who took it over from her parents many years ago and is now passing it down to her daughter. No one knows the river better than Claudia does or is as connected to it. But before we dive into it, please subscribe to Paddle TV if you haven't already and hit that notification bell. Also, check out the Paddle Tales series. Paddle Tales is a really cool series that goes to some of the most amazing places in the world and goes on cool paddling adventures along the way. There's a link in the description box down below. Other than that, please enjoy this episode, the paddling guide to Madawaska River.
We're in the region called Ontario Highlands, which is just east of Algonquin Park and between Toronto, our biggest city in Canada, and our nation's capital, Ottawa. The Madawaska River flows out of Algonquin Park and into the Ottawa River. And there's really three sections. We call it the upper, which is right outside of Algonquin Park flowing into Bark Lake. And then the middle, where Madawaska Kanu Center is on. And the final whitewater section is called the lower Madawaska, or Snake Rapids. It's 240 kilometers long, many lakes, and beautiful class 2-3 whitewater. What's unique about this river, it is drop pool, where each rapid flows into a calm body of water, and that's thanks to the Canadian Shield. Having a regular water release is the reason why we can be here. It doesn't matter if we're in a drought year or in a heavy rain, it's always the same release at 26 cubic meters per second. It's also a wild river. You will always see a blue heron flying from tree to tree, or a beaver popping up. Our actual Navigable Waterways Protection Act has not allowed any development along the main rapid sections. Boats that are excellent for paddling on your own is a whitewater kayak, and we use a creek boat because this is a creeking run, technical downriver paddling, or a open canoe with flotation tied in. So we have airbags that are specifically made for canoes. They have the shape of the boat so that when water does enter the open compartment, the airbag displaces the water, so you're floating high like a beach ball and can continue to the bottom of the rapid. But if you're brand new and you want to try, rafting is the best way to experience the whitewater. And here we have a 2-hour raft trip. That's the only trip in all of Canada where even 2-year-olds are welcome, because you hold on, the guide does all the work, but you do stop and body surf, which is where you wear your life jacket and you're floating down the waves, and you get your introduction to the river world. It's a very popular family activity. The Madawaska River is a whitewater river, and for that you need to be a whitewater paddler, and that takes skill. It's not something you can just jump in with any boat and descend. So whitewater is powerful. It's important to be a paddler with skills before you come here. The Madawaska River is a class 1 to 3 whitewater run. 1 is just moving current with some features, and 6 is Niagara Falls, so unrunnable. And here we are 1 to 3. And that means you need to be prepared for 3. So you can't just choose the class 1 sections of a river. You need to be a class 3 paddler to paddle the Madawaska, because you will encounter and you need to have the skills to avoid a feature that you don't want to be in. Our most popular canoe multi-day is the lower Madawaska, or known as the Snake Rapids. It is a park, but it is a low-level park, so that you don't have to have reservations. But there are designated campsites that are marked. They do have a thunderbox and a grill for the fire pit. So it is appreciated if you use the designated spots so that we leave the rest of the river in its pristine condition. And there are outfitters on the lower Madawaska that not only can provide you with gear, but also can provide you with a shuttle from the start to the end. On the middle Madawaska section here, that's actually locally known as Bell's Rapids. This middle rapid, called Chalet, after our chalet, is our gate course. And it's a slalom, gates hanging off wires that we use for races, but we mainly use it for teaching. Also along the Madawaska River here on the Middle Mad, we have 5 geocaching caches. We have set the caches up for those that love geocaching as a learning as well about the history, about the logging history here on the river, the First Nations, what was the name of the river, when was the bridge built, and how you too can get into the sport of paddling. Anytime you're in moving current, there's a hazard. So it is really important to know your own abilities. So please don't venture unless you already have the skill level to go and even identify that this is a class 3 rapid, and that there's a tongue, and that there's a hydraulic, which is a hole, and that would keep your boat and recirculate. And because it's a drop pool river, the Madawaska has many ledges, and at the bottom of each ledge, the hydraulic would keep you, and they are called keepers in the whitewater lingo. So it is important for you to do some scouting and river reading, and if you are not an expert at that place, you will definitely find a portage trail in the woods. In the spring, when the waters are really high, often the water comes up high and new trees have fallen in. We call those sweepers, and that they are the biggest danger in whitewater paddling. So again, and the water is cold in the spring. So these are 2 important things to note that I would wait until the summer if you are a newcomer to the sport. In running a river, and especially the Madawaska River, it's important to never paddle alone. It's whitewater. You always want to have someone as backup, or you are backup or in support for your river buddy. On the middle section here, it's really important to know when does the water turn on and when does it turn off, because you don't want to be high and dry. So here it's regulated Monday to Thursday from 9:30 till 4. We have a special water release called Whitewater Recreation. Fishing is phenomenal on the Madawaska River. Rock bass live in our river year-round, and they love the many eddies and pools. And we are a very popular pickerel or walleye river, and they like the deep, cold water. And in the lakes, especially Bark Lake is a water reservoir, is Ottawa Valley's most popular trout fishing, because in many places it's 200 feet deep. Running rivers and camping seems to go synonymous. So we actually have great options along the Madawaska River. Algonquin Park is an obvious, it's the source of the river, and outside on the East Gate there are campgrounds but also motels and lodges. And then Barry's Bay is the closest town to the middle Madawaska, and we have Sunny Hill Camp, which is a trailer park, cottage rental, and regular tent camping on Bark Lake. Here we have accommodation for the guests that are in our programs. So you'd be part of our program. We have camping, lodge accommodation, and our wooded glamping option we call cabañas. Just downstream is Paddler Co-op, a paddling center where you also can camp. So Palmer is a hub, MKC is a hub, and the lower Madawaska is its own mecca for canoeing and kayaking. One of my favorite places to eat is right on the Madawaska River in Combermere. It's the Bent Anchor, and you can paddle your boat right up to the dock and have your meal on the terrace or drive in. It's right between Madawaska Kanu Center and Palmer Rapids, so a very popular paddling stop. In town of Barry's Bay, we have some great options. On the Lake Kaministkeg is the Ash Grove Inn. A little closer to Algonquin Park is Spectacle Lake Lodge, and they also are on the water, and they're famous for their smokehouse. They do incredible ribs. In the town of Whitney, right on the east gate of Algonquin Park, where the upper Madawaska starts, my favorite is the Mad Trapper, home-cooked meals that are delicious. The most famous place to eat in the Madawaska Valley is in Wilno, with Polish cuisine, the Wilno Tavern. At Madawaska Kanu Center, we have a wonderful riverside cafe. We serve freshly roasted Madawaska coffee, but also specialty teas, panini sandwiches, and home-baked pastries. And on Fridays, we open up our kitchen to Friday dinners. And you can book ahead and join us for the famous MKC food. At MKC, you have the choice to bring your own equipment, or you can rent from us. We have full rentals of helmet, life jacket, paddle, and outfitted kayak or canoe, but only to people in our programs. If you are interested in renting a boat, there is an outfitter in Palmer Rapids and as well downstream in Griffith. So these are two places you can rent canoes. In Palmer Rapids at Paddler Co-op, you can rent a kayak or a whitewater canoe. And for the multi-day trip on the Lower Mad, there is Mad River Rentals down in Griffith, which will outfit you for a multi-day river trip. So to learn the sport of whitewater paddling, having instruction is key. You will learn quicker and safer, and your experience will be positive from the onset. So we have weekend courses as a introduction, but you don't have enough skills to go off on your own after just 2 days. So our most popular is the week-long, where you arrive Sunday evening, you're paddling Monday to Friday, and you have enough time to master the skills that you have learned. We divide you into skill level groups. So you have an entry level, you're in a novice, you're in an intermediate, or in the advanced group. And in the advanced group, we don't just stay on the Madawaska, we run the Petawawa, we might go to the Gull River in Minden, and definitely spend a lot of time on the Ottawa, which has become the playboat mecca for whitewater paddling in Ontario. The Madawaska River information can be found in a guidebook. It is published by Algonquin Park Friends of Algonquin, and you can order it online or drop in at their visitor center. We too here in our river shop carry it. It gives you the rapid by rapid description for all the different water levels for the upper, the middle, and the lower section of the Madawaska River. The other spot to learn about what the water flows are is Ontario Power Generation's website, and it's really helpful. It doesn't tell you what's coming up, it only says what's happening then, and you can see what has happened before. So you click on Madawaska and it's divided exactly into the sections of upper, middle, and lower. If you'd like more information on Madawaska Kanu Center, the easiest is to go to our website, mkc.ca, or pick up the phone and ask us questions in person. We love to get people into our world, which is all about the river.